factually opinionated.
Welcome to Factually Opinionated. I'm your host, Josh. Glad to have you guys back with us today. Today we're going to be discussing different issues regarding race. It's a subject that we've discussed at length amongst each other. It's something that we really want to share with you all on today. And we're really going to be addressing the black community more specifically today. We're going to kind of get in depth on our personal views on our race as a whole. And one of the issues that we bring up often is it slavery or racism that's holding us back, as black people? I go around and let the guys refresh you on who they are. I know you love to see their wonderful faces, but I'll let everyone introduce themselves before we jump into it.
Hey, it's Ray. Y'all know what it is. Ray Sean Cheney coming from Buffalo, New York. Make sure y'all tune in every time we post something.
Yeah, it's your boy KD, Nashville, Tennessee. Y'all gotta like everybody on this show, including me.
Hey, what up? It's your boy Tim from Memphis, Tennessee. We just out here just trying to make it happen, guys. Just check us out.
What, caused the black community to be in the predicament that we are? You feel as though slavery was more of a factor, or is it racism that has got the black community at the state that it's in right now?
Well, I have to start it off by saying, some of the most important things that you need to just be a successful person in the world is to have self-confidence, to have a religion, to have your culture, to have money, because money is power, and to also have education, because education is power. But when you bring slavery into that, slavery didn't allow us to be educated. Self-confidence, we were hated to have the certain nose, the type of hair that we have. It wasn't okay for us. A lot of things that African Americans invented, but maybe didn't get the credit for, that if you think about it right now, if we was to get credit for all of those things, our families upon families and generations upon generations would have been able to have been receiving a lot more money. So I believe slavery is what kicked us down. You know what I'm saying? But when we try to get back up, it's racism that keeps us down. And also ourselves. Of course, we have to blame ourselves for the things that we do. But who taught us to hate each other? But also another big thing that we sometimes fail to realize is how much segregation also hurt the black community, segregating us. Slavery started back in 1619 in Jamestown, Virginia. Some people even say it started back in 1555. So that's almost 400 years of no religion, no culture, no self-confidence, no money, no education. You know what I'm saying? And then there came a time where Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, all of these presidents that are honored in Washington, D.C. and in America history, they also had slaves as well. So slavery was ended in 1863. That was about 100 and maybe 200 something years ago, if you think about it. Wasn't that long ago when we were actually free. But also, we wasn't able to be unsegregated until 1964, which was only about 40 some odd years ago, 2 generations ago. So I take a step back and I feel like that hurt the black community, being that we were slaves and then we were actually segregated and we were actually free back in 1964. The difference between African Americans and Africans and islanders and people from Great Britain in these different areas is because in Great Britain in 1833, they freed their slaves. And they didn't just free them, they were unsegregated to go to any restaurant that they wanted. They could go to any school that they wanted. So they have 131 gap on African Americans. Like, African Americans is its own culture. We are from Africa. We are the same, but we're different because 131 years straight, the islanders, the Great Britain, the Europeans allowed those people to go to school, to be doctors, to be lawyers, to be construction workers, to be whatever you wanted to be. So they had such a head start over us. Sometimes we fail to remember that our grandmothers, our grandmothers were probably somewhere dealing with slavery or racism or being hung from a tree. So we're not that far removed from it. We're only 2 generations away from it. And when I think about those things, I think that we're not giving ourselves the chance to grow. I believe that this generation right here, the generation Y era, the millennium era, I think we're the first ones to really get that chance to make a difference, because we all attended University of Tennessee at Martin. The first African American stepped foot on UT Martin campus in 1962. Okay, that was about 48 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. With that being said, our grandmothers were allowed to go to college. But back then it wasn't about being educated. It was about leaving the house and bringing back money for your family. Then our mothers, they had the opportunity to go to school, but they probably didn't take it. So it's really up to this generation right here, this millennium generation, to take the torch, and we have to run with it if we really want to make a difference.
I'm curious to see how KD, how do you feel about it? What do you think is what's causing black people to be behind this day and age? Is it more slavery or racism?
Well, honestly, after hearing what Ray was saying, he makes a lot of sense. And of course he has his information to back it up, because that's Ray. Yeah. But me, how I feel, slavery doesn't really affect us in this generation. Racism affects us more, but slavery doesn't have no effect on us, because it was so long ago that people were slaves. Now we were segregated, which that was a stem of racism. So I believe that racism has an effect on why we're so behind, but then again, it's us, because they're successful black people. I mean, I look at you guys, and I look at you guys as family, and y'all are successful to me. Y'all are doing things that y'all supposed to do in this country, and making a living for yourself, making a name for yourself, doing things for yourself. So, but our culture as a whole, yes, we are behind, and it's because of the things that we do, the ways that we pick up, what we like. And that comes from what we was introduced to, as Ray was saying, that they taught us to hate each other. And why we're so behind is because I just can't see myself enjoying Ray having a Mercedes Benz and I don't. I can't see myself enjoying Ray having a Rolex or Tim having a coupe and you having a house and I don't. And that's what's keeping us so behind. It's the jealousy. It's the oppression that's already built in us to want someone not to have what we don't have. Like I want you to be where I'm at. I don't want you to be better than me. And if you need me to get better than me, then I'm not gonna do it. We both have to jump up, or I'm not gonna be a part of what you're doing. And that's what our culture is dealing with more. It's the oppressive spirit that we carry, that's been given to us from the segregation period. As Ray was saying, the slavery, that's passed on down. But I think that's moved. That's the racism that's holding us back, that's keeping us behind.
See, Katie, I mean, when you said that, it seems as though the slavery, even though of course it's not going on now, it still has lasting effects. It's almost something innate within us that we almost have a complex. It's like, shoot, which I went around during slavery, but it almost seems like if the attitudes that we have now were applied back during that time period, it would be like if one slave got free, the other slaves would be jealous. Right. It's like, dang, he got off the plantation. Y'all need to go get Toby, because shoot, if I ain't free, he don't need to be free.
Right.
Which that may be totally false, but like that crab bucket mentality, Tim talks about all the time.
Right.
Tim, what's your take on it, man?
Well, I think
you elaborate on it.
I honestly think slavery and racism go hand in hand. I think both of them equally have an effect on the African American community and the African American way of living. You can't talk about slavery without talking about racism, and you can't talk about racism without talking about slavery. To go back to what Josh said about, Josh KD, they kind of touched on the crab bucket mentality. My whole thing about the crab bucket mentality, it's not the crabs, it's the environment that they put the crabs in. They put them in hot water, they put them in a tight bucket, and they put so many people in this tall bucket, and that's why a lot of the black people feel like, if they can't succeed, they don't want to see nobody else succeed. So I think it go hand in hand. It's not just slavery and it's not just racism. We still dealing with racism. I believe we still dealing with racism and slavery right now today. I mean, I'm not going to even go into racism because that's obvious. But from a slavery standpoint, look on the jobs. Look at the CEOs, look at the VPs and the directors and all that stuff. I know plenty, guys who qualified to be CEOs and VPs based on their college resume or their college accolades. But you know what they're doing? They at the bottom of the barrel. They on the phone. They on the call center. They probably a janitor. They probably an entry level position. They probably have to have more qualifications than someone else who don't even have a degree, just to be at a equal or satisfying pay level. So to me, that's slavery. I don't know if y'all don't believe there was slavery, but to me, that's slavery. And we know, and like I said, I'm not gonna get into racism. So I think both of them have a great amount of equally impact on the black community.
Well, I guess I agree with all three of you guys generally, but it's almost like I lean more towards KD's perspective on it. Me and him kind of come from the same mindset or same mode of thinking when it comes to that. My thinking is slavery or racism, they do have an effect. I can't act like it doesn't exist,
Right.
but it's very minuscule in 2015. A lot of us holding black people back. Now, I would fool to say that slavery has had no impact due to the fact that I believe and know for a fact that a whole bunch of stuff that Ray said is true.
Right.
White people, if you came over here and you own all the property, all the land, all the businesses, and you basically tell black people what to do. If you own 400 acres and your last name is Johnson, I mean, your family is basically set. Long as you doing something like, agriculture, or if you start your business, anyway, you got money. People that normally have money come from money. So it just starts a lifestyle. If you're a parent that has a college degree, more than likely your child is going to get a college degree. But like I was saying, if the person has 400 acres and you just allow that to trickle down through the generations, you give your child some property, they inherit it. And inflation has been happening since the beginning of the time. The value of stuff goes up yearly. These people are basically inheriting money. If your parents own businesses, you inherit these businesses. Black people weren't given these opportunities. So it put us behind the 8 ball in the very beginning. We got a terrible start. You look like you got something to say, right?
And Jay, I just want to jump in right there where you were saying that. But to me, I feel as though what happened in the past is affecting us now. Because when you think about it, if in 1863, we all came here together with, you can't mention white without black. We go hand in hand, literally, together. And one of the things that I think about is, if we were y'all slaves, if we were y'all partners, if we were y'all, you know what I'm saying? Even if you didn't treat us right, you feel what I'm saying? Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Jefferson and those presidents back then, they even knew that they owed us something. You can't just release us and not prepare us for the world. You got to understand, we were illiterate. We didn't know anything. And you just going to just send us out there and say, go fend for yourself? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a tough pill to swallow, and I think it's affecting us even to this day. When they let us go, when they freed us, they should have educated us, taught us how to run our own businesses, gave us some land, gave us some, some agriculture so we can grow our own land and things of that nature, and also help us become doctors, lawyers, and things like that. And if you fast forward to now, if my grandparents, great-great-great-great-grandparents started with that, I think Cheney, the African-American, we will be an enterprise, right? We'll be running things. We will be on Fortune 400 just like the rest of them. So I just think that beginning start that they didn't give us what we were owed, I feel like right now we're still fighting for that right now. And I feel as though, again, you fast forward to generation, the millennial generation, which is us, we got all of that on our back. We have to make up for what our mothers didn't do and our grandparents didn't do. But we will find our way.
Just to be the devil's advocate, which I'm pretty, but all these folks over in Africa ain't eat, like, you know what I'm saying, which they only show the poor stuff on National Geographic, but it's some white people saying we probably blessed y'all by bringing y'all over here. Some of y'all, because we could left y'all over there with them lions and tigers, and you be throwing spears and stuff like that, like your other people. Since you want to be African so bad, like, how about we not show y'all nothing? Right. And I mean, I ain't even planning on going that direction with it, but I was just playing the devil's advocate. It was just interesting.
Even if they left us in Africa, don't get it twisted. Don't look at television and think that that's how Africa always is. It's just refugee fighters. There's beautiful places over there in Africa. Like there's great governments over there in Africa. Yeah, there's going to be parts in Africa that, you know, that don't run under these different things. But there's architects over there in Africa. I mean, come on, who do you think built those pyramids? I mean, we always been, Africans have always been business savvy and technology, been good at technology and science. So don't fool us. We was the first people that built we built sand, and it's still there. Like, we built stuff out of sand and water, and it's still there. Okay, so don't get it twisted and make it seem like African Americans are just stupid or we don't do things over there. And it just sits so perfectly over there. And we got a lot of things that we added to this world that they copy from us. You know what I'm saying? So we all share things. So I mean, let's not get it twisted. Like, Indians taught Americans how to do agriculture. Okay. So let's remember that the Indians taught them how to grow tobacco. We taught them the cotton machine, how to build these things. Like, don't forget how much we invented over here and that they took from us, and then they still getting fat off of this while we starving. Just
Had something you want to say, Katie?
Yeah, I was saying, whenever Ray was saying that they should have showed us, the one thing that I liked that they didn't show a majority of our culture things was, we as a culture, as African Americans, as we improvise, we survive, we make it through. You know, we all have moms and dads that, you know, my dad wasn't in the home and Tim's dad wasn't in the home, but I know that we have moms that survived, that, you know, that had multiple children and made it. So that was the thing, like, they didn't give us everything, but we made a way. Like us, we don't have everything, but we're making a way now. And we're going to do this for multiple people, and we don't even know the way. We're not shown the way, but we're going to find our way. So that's one thing I do like. But another thing I wanted to say was that I believe that they did show some people, you know, Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Jefferson. I believe they did show some slaves how to be business savvy and how to do certain things with land. But there goes that black thing again, where I'm not going to show him. I'm going to keep it for myself. And the Smith family is going to be, you know, doing the thing right. And, you know, and the Caraway family is going to be rich. I ain't doing nothing with that Cheatham boy, because he don't need to know what I know. I'm going to do it for mine. And so that's how I kind of think about it, how I kind of seen, though I don't know, and we all don't know how it all played a part and went through, but all in all, you do have a point, and what you're saying is true. But it's kind of me thinking a different way in how we are as a culture and knowing our culture and how we are now. It's like, that's how we are, and that's how we're.
All I'm saying is, if you're going to do business with people, be fair. That's all I'm saying. Like, if you're going to do business, if you're going to use us for 400 years, my dude, give me some land, bro. Like, that's like me paying your house for you, and then you don't pay me at the end of it. We got problems. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like, I just felt like it was a bad business deal going wrong, and that's just how.
Some very interesting information to me, you know, stuff that I didn't even really take into account. But, you know, as a race, how long should we be able to use slavery as an excuse for being behind? I don't even know if y'all have, like, you know, an exact number, but how long can we continue to use that as an excuse for being behind? What you think, Ray?
Well, I had like an analogy about how it has affected us, and you know, even as a little boy, you know, when I was in America, I'm just la-di-da-di-da. I'm not thinking anything about it. I don't care. Like, my white friends love me, my Mexican friends love me. Growing up, I come from Buffalo, New York. It's very diverse. Everybody loved me until I get to the age of like 13 and I start asking questions like, granddad or mom, why is my name Cheney? You know, and you think about that when you take somebody's name, their identity from them. You know what I'm saying? And then I fast forward to now, and I'm driving through the city of Cheney in Washington, or it's like a city named Cheney, and they got football stadiums and all these beautiful things, and it's like you start to think to yourself, is this where I was at one point in time? Is this where my family comes from? You start to question those things as a little boy. So I look at slavery as like a cake pan, for example. If you ever, like, this is a cake pan, for example, all right? I got this drink here. If you bend this thing up and you try to make cake with this, no matter how many pieces of cake or cornbread or whatever, it's going to always have that imprinted, that indebted in them forever. And that's how I look at how slavery has done us. But how long can we hold on to that? We can't hold on to it no more. It's been 46 years. It's been over 400 years between. They're not going to pay you. They're not going to give you anything. So it's about that time now where we stop asking for handouts. You know what I'm saying? And when I talk about that lasting impression, I went to take my grandmother to Boston the other week. And my grandmother's, she pulled out this old dusty birth certificate. I'm like, man, it's not even dusty. Woof. But I look on it, and the ethnic, her ethnic race on there is Negro. So that showed me, like, wow, my grandmother would answer to people as a Negro. And that's, again, not that long ago. You know what I'm saying? But that impression still lives on and linger on. And when I think about it, like, how long can we hold on to it? We kind of got to wake up to a certain degree because, again, America was built off some bad news, illegal things. That imprint is still on America, never will leave, like I said. But they made it legit for them. Like, we tried to do everything for us for free. Now we got the land. Okay, cool. No more slavery from now on. We own 99% of the whole world. Okay, now it's cool. No more, any of that is illegal. But I don't know not one person that ever did a day in jail for slavery. I don't know nobody that's ever went to jail for that. And then you fast forward up to like African Americans, we can't have nothing. Like, we start selling drugs, they tell us, they put us in jail for 30 years. But now you start to slowly realize California, Washington, Colorado, all of these places are legal to sell drugs now. Like, wait a minute, what's going on? Like, wait a minute. We were using this as a source, just like how America built off of illegal things. We were building our little empire off illegal things, but we was doing 30, 40 years in life. And you mean to tell me y'all starting to just, who are these distributors of marijuana right now? Rich white people. Like, can we at least sell marijuana for, like, you know what I'm saying? They gave the Indians the casinos. Can we get the weed? You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's like to the point where it's like anything that we were doing, they would take it and then they would take over. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what I'm just saying. Like, I mean, and even when you look right now, again, there's 41 million African Americans in America right now. Okay? The Fortune 400 are the richest Americans in America right now. There's 400 of them. Those 400 members on that Forbes list make more money than all 41 million of us put together. And if that is not saying something something ain't right, we need to wake up. And it's like, we can't worry no more about that. We was dealt a tough hand. But in the Bible, it says those that will last will be first. And I really have a strong feeling that, we gotta shrug it off. Like, we are resilient. African Americans are the most resilient race in the planet. We survived a lot of things. The Native Americans are one of the most resilient people in the world. Those Mexicans that come over swimming on their back, they coming over here on trains. However, these are the most resilient people. These people of color, we are resilient, and that's something we need to be proudful about.
What's your thinking on that, Timbo? Like, how long should we be able to use slavery as an excuse for being behind?
I mean, we as black people, I mean, honestly, we can use it however long we want to. I mean, I understand, the effect that it had on the community, and slavery, it is a big deal, and it was a big deal back in the day. But however, I'm just gonna say this: if you choose to continue to use that, then it's gonna affect you. Just know that that's not the smartest thing to do. I mean, you can use it all you want to. You can go around saying it and all that kind of stuff. And when you say it, I'm gonna feel you, but I'm not gonna be saying it with you because I know the effects that it has on the mind. When you say stuff like that, I just come from a get the job done mentality. I'm a no excuse type guy. It's hard, but it's fair. The past is the past. It has nothing to do with my future. That's the kind of mindset. I mean, it's the mindset that I live by day. So I mean, yeah, like I said, y'all can use that as long as I want to. I want to say something to Chris Rock. Chris Rock had said, his dad told him when he was a child that you can't beat white people at anything, but you can knock them out. And what he meant by that, he meant by if you relying on the judges to make the decision, that you lost. If you got a 6 count and the white man got a 5 count, and you relying on the judges, you out. You lost. You cannot go neck and neck with these people. You cannot fight blow for blow with these people, man. You got to knock these people out. And he referred to the what's that guy name? Gary Coney and Larry Holmes fight. And Larry Holmes was beating the hell out of the Coney guy. In the 11th round, by the end of the 11th round, Coney had cuts in his eyes, his jaw was fractured, and Larry Holmes still looked like a beast, ready to go. But when they went to the scorecard, Coney was killing this man. He was about to lose this fight, dude. Coney was about to beat Larry Holmes in the 11th round, but they had one more round to go. And if Larry Holmes would never knock that man out, he would have lost that fight because of the judges. It would have been in the judges' hand. So I say all that to say, man, we cannot use that as an excuse, bro. We just got to get up. We got to strap our boots up. We just got to throw blows. We got to take it as, take it for what it is.
Love that dude, man.
Y'all coming with that hot fire. But what you think, Katie? How long can we continue to use it? What's your
use the field, Katie?
Well, I've never been able to use it. So it's like if you if you try to use that in your mindset, you will always be behind because you're already having an excuse. Baby, I'm finna go out look for a job. When you get in the car, white man hold me back. I'm going back home. He hold me back. I ain't even gonna get the job. So if you use that, that's what's gonna that keeps in your mind that I'm not gonna get the job anyway. What's the point of me coming in here with a suit and tie? And I know my resume ain't better than Josh's. Not you, Josh, Joshua, or Matthew, or Brandon, or Skylar, whatever. Anyway, whenever you use those things, it keeps you in the mindset of being behind. And that's something that I wanted to say. Us as a black culture, we don't look at the other races who had to go through things, like the Jews. I believe the Jews was treated worse than all of us, and I believe that they was treated horrible. And here in America, they don't do anything. They don't talk about it like that. I have Jewish friends and stuff like that. They don't talk about stuff like that. And still to this day, people of Asia and Indonesia, they're slaves. And right now, today, in San Francisco and Los Angeles, it was a lady by the name of like Emma Montecool or something like that, and she was a slave in Los Angeles from 1997 to 2013. And before that, she got caught. Before the people who was enslaving her got caught, she was, cleaning houses, cleaning cars in the rain, and doing all the things that a slave would do, and not getting paid for it. So I'm saying that we're not going through that right now. I don't know nobody that's going through it, and I don't think that y'all know anybody that's a true slave right now. So it's like you can't use those type of things because you will always be behind.
I pose a question to him.
I read a book called Think and Grow Rich. We as people, we have to start thinking positive stuff. And when you think positive stuff, when you put positive stuff in your mind, you'll grow positive things. You reap what you sow. You reap positive things, and positive things will come out just like a beautiful branch. Oh, we need to stop. We need to think and grow rich, or we need to stop thinking and stay broke. It's either one or two. Right. You're going to grow rich or you're going to stay broke. But there's no in between, guys.
Let me ask this question about, you say the Jews and they had it worse and things like that. I'm not going to go back and forth with who had the worst. But I'm going to say it to you like this: they can go back home and you can't. Okay, so your name is Cheatham, your name is Caraway, your name is Wilson. We don't know what tribe we came from. We don't know
Right.
what our religion was. We don't know anything. We can't go back home at all.